Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So, Easter has come and gone, but I am still enjoying my bunny stamps. So, I was in need of some baby cards. We have so many babies being born, so which is a wonderful thing and great for spring, but I needed some more baby cards. So, let's go ahead and switch our camera and take a look at today's project. All right, so like I said, I was still having fun coloring up my sweet bunnies, and I needed some baby cards, so I decided to combine the two. So this is the new spring oval frame set, which I thought was perfect to make some shaped baby cards. So let's take a look at our products real quickly. The star of the show is this beautiful frame set, and I have saved the largest piece out on purpose just in case you don't know how to make a shaped card. I wanted to show you. This fits on an A2 size, so this is just an A2 card blank. And I'm going to run that through my die cut machine like this with one edge hanging off. Can you see the die there hanging off? So I'm just going to tape that on like this and run it through my die cut machine. And when that comes out, I'm going to have this right here where I now have a shaped card. So you can do that with any shaped die that you have just by leaving one edge hanging off. Then I go ahead and I cut this piece out in full out of white or out of pink or any color that you would like. I've done it lots of different ways, but let me show you. So then you have this. You have your one piece that's got the hinge, and then you have a full piece that you can put over the top, and that hides your hinge. So we call this piece the hinge hider. So you need to make a hinge hider for each of your shaped cards. So hopefully that all makes sense. And we're going to go ahead and get started making our sweet little welcome baby cards. So for each one of my cards, I have used the outer three dies in this set. So the large scalped one, the pretty decorative one, and then the largest of the dotted ovals. And I have cut that out in different ways for for each of my cards. I'm also going to be using the Hoppy Spring stamp set, and I stamped this bunny twice, the egg once, and the little bunny with the bow once. And then for my sentiment, I'm using the Too Sweet, which is from the, let me read the back of it just so I get the name right. Happy Headlines. So the name of this set is Happy Headlines, and it just has so many fun sentiments, and I love the way they're written in the two sizes. It's just a little different than your normal sentiments, and it's just fun to do that sometimes. All right, to get started, I have gone ahead and colored the bunnies for us. You all know I don't like to color on camera because I'm really slow. It takes me a long time. And you can notice on my two bunnies here, on this one, I accidentally picked up the wrong color when I was coloring. So his little cheeks here are darker than they should have been, and his tummy, because I grabbed the wrong pen, but I thought he was still good enough that he could be used. I didn't want to start over because I didn't want to throw him away. He looked pretty good otherwise. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and use him. So we've got our two bunnies here. I'll set those aside real quickly. And for each of our cards, I have made the card base. There we go, for each of these. And these are going to be cards that go this direction. So on each one of these, let's go ahead and glue down the hinge hider. So for this one, I went for the little girl one. I made it in pink. And that's one of the fun things about this frame set is it gives you lots of different options on how you can put these pieces together. You know, they'll always be the same kind of shape, but you can do it in lots of different variations. So I've made two of the variations. Actually, I've made three of the variations for today's projects, and this is one of them where I put my colored cardstock on the bottom. And then for our decorative piece, I cut it out in white. glue that down. I'm going to slip my glasses on real quick so I can get this on straight, hopefully. There we go. Whoops. All right, so that one's all ready. I'm going to set that aside. And this is the piece that we will put in the center, but we're going to stamp our sentiment on those first. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of my Misties out. Place that right there and go ahead and get our headline die, or stamp. And we're going to use the Too Sweet. I thought this was a good sentiment for a baby card. It's going to say Too Sweet on the outside, and then on the inside I'm going to stamp or write something to the effect of Welcome Baby. So right here at the top, let's see. I replaced my sticky mat and still it wants to pull up each time, so I'm going to stamp this today in a Catherine Pooler color, and I just picked something that I thought would, you know what, that's the wrong one. We don't want to stamp it in that. Hold on one second. I don't know how that, oh, I do know how that got in there. Hold on one quick second. That was not the right one for this card. I wanted to pick an ink that kind of matched my cardstock. And for this pink cardstock, the Do-Si-Do matches much better than the Be Mine, but we will use the Be Mine later on in this video. There we go. I'm glad I caught that. That other one would not have matched. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lay this one right on top, and we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment a second time for our second card. And for this one, for the little boy card, I have chosen Hot Tub to be my ink color. All right, there we go. All right. So for my Too Sweet, I'm going to go ahead and pop this one up with a little bit of foam. Just to add a little bit of dimension. And I thought this size card, and with it being a shaped card, it's kind of a perfect size to go like in a gift bag. And that's kind of what I wanted to have on hand, was just some little cards that I could pop into gift bags with the present and have them ready to go. Trying to get that lined up in there. All right, and you can see I did this one with the colored cardstock on the back so that I get that nice color coming through my little eyelet flowers there. And now we're going to go ahead and add our little brown bunny right here off to the side just a little bit. So most of him is going to be glued down, but I'm going to add just a little bit of foam on his feet. Hopefully that's in the right place. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to put just a little piece of foam out here on the end of his ear. And those are just the parts that are going to be on the edge of our card there. Add some glue. Put him in place. I'm really kind of gauging his positioning by his ear right underneath my sentiment. And did pretty good there. Okay. All right, to finish the outside of this card off, I came in with a few little tiny beads, or they're actually, they're little gems that you can buy, but they're clear and they're glass. So they pick up the color of whatever color you put them on. And I believe these came from this calls for confetti from it's called Ice Sparkle Gems. And I believe I got them at a retreat that we did. So I think they still have those, but I forgot to check. But any kind of gem that you wanted to use to go around to put in the center of each of these little flowers. So I'm just adding a dot of glue to each one. And then I'll just use my jewel picker here to pop a jewel into the center of each one. And this just adds a little sparkle and something extra special around the edge, and I like to do that. Okay. So I only saved this to do for you live in this video, and in my next one, I already did it for us. So on the next card, I won't do this step. I did it in advance, so you won't have to watch me glue these on twice. There we go. But it's a step that I think is worth it because it just adds that sparkle, especially to a baby card. I think wedding cards and baby cards, well, who am I kidding? I think all cards are better with a little bit of sparkle. Maybe with the exception of masculine cards. But other than that, I like to add sparkle. So there we go. All right, last one. There we go. Now, I thought this card looked great just like this, but I wanted to do one more thing. So here I have some, this calls for confetti, little bag with the little clay polymer hearts. And they came out with this one for Valentine's Day. And it has some little pink hearts in there. And I thought this card needed some of those little pink hearts. So this is something you could do with gems or a little stamp if you have a little heart stamp. But I thought it would look cute. Just add. And I put just 3. And I'm going to purposely, whoops, almost spilt my gems. I'll go ahead and grab those hearts and add them right there on my card. There we go. All right, there's my sweet little welcome baby card. Love it. To do the little boy card, I'm going to do it just the opposite. So these two are the same, but now I'm going to do one like this. And for that, we've got our hinge hider in white and our card base. I'm going to go ahead and glue those together. It's kind of like an assembly line. Once you get all your pieces cut and ready to go, you can make several of these very quickly. But for this one, instead of cutting out in white, I cut this piece in white, and I'm going to put this one down, and I did it in the blue. There we go. Now, I did glue the little gems on already. So I'm being careful not to move those. I tell you what, I was bound to spill one of these. There we go. Okay, for our Too Sweet this time, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up again like we did before. But before, we had to fit it in that little well that was cut out. But on this one, we'll just have to center it, because I left it solid there. So this die set gives you lots of different options when it comes to, you know, you can cut out the center, you can leave the center, just lots of different ways you can get different looks with this set. And try to get that in there. Center pretty good. All right, and we're going to add our little bunny in the same way we did before. position him in the exact same way. Oops. In the same way, I'm using the bottom of his ear just to line him up there. And for this one, I'm going to add little white hearts. Although you could use pink ones. But I have little white ones in my tray already, so we're going to go with white. All right, so there we go. We have our welcome baby cards all ready to go. But I thought this fun design, these were so fast and simple to make. I thought, what else can I make out of these little bunnies and a card? And so I decided one of the ways that we can use our frame set is to make a shaker card. So I made a fun little happy birthday card here that underneath my shaker bits it says happy extra special birthday. So I want to make sure that my Easter sets, that I'm finding ways to use them besides just Easter. So I have gone ahead and made a birthday card out of this one. So to do that, I cut the same pieces. Got my card base, but instead of going sideways, I'm going to go landscape this time. I got my hinge hider. And then I've got the decorative frame piece, and I went ahead and mounted a piece of acetate. So I just went around there with double-sided adhesive and added my acetate there. So that is going to help us make our shaker. So I wanted this to be very colorful, so let's go ahead and color up our hinge hider using Distress Oxides. And I'm starting with the spun sugar. There we go. That spun sugar is one of my favorite colors. Now I'm going to use some squeezed lemonade. And I'm going to overlap it with that spun sugar so that I get a little bit of the orange color. I didn't pull my orange. I'm just going to create it by adding those two together. There we go. Now I'm going to come in with Twisted Citron. You know what? I think I need to go a little bit further with my orange. Didn't get very much in there. There we go. Now we'll add a little more squeezed lemonade. So I just want to get about halfway. There we go. Now you can see the colors. Now we'll add the Twisted Citron. And the Twisted Citron really blends so well with the squeezed lemonade. Now I'm going to use a bit of salvage patina. Blend that out just a little bit there. And for my final color, I'm going to use the shaded lilac. All right, so there we go. We've got our background all ready to go. I love blending oxides. It's so much easier than the Distress. All right, to finish this card off, I'm going to take a little bit of the thin foam strips, and we're going to make this a shaker card. And right there along the edge, I am going to run this right around, just like this, around that inner edge. All right. Pretty good. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and lay this out and get this ready to stamp my sentiment. So for the happy birthday sentiment, I went to the Hoppy Spring stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp the happy birthday this time. It was a little challenging to fit the whole extra special and all inside, so we're just going to go with happy birthday. There's the happy word. And about right here, and the word birthday. And this is where I decided to go with the darker hot pink ink color. Oops, make myself some more room here. Okay, I'm going to try to get that straight. And I'm just going to set this down and make sure that I'm getting all of the letter inside the frame of my circle here. And I did a pretty good job lining it up. Now the first time that took me much longer to line it up, but I had the benefit of having done it before, so I kind of knew how far in it needed to be. But when you first do it, you want to set that on side and make sure none of your letters are outside of your frame. And I'm going to do this when you're stamping on oxides. It's good to do it 2 or 3 times just to, with it being that chalky finish, just helps to darken it up a little bit. There we go. All right, so there's that. For my insides, I'm only going to put just a few of sequins in here because my foam is not very thick, so I don't want to put anything too awfully thick inside. So I'm just going to put a few, and this time I'm going to go with pink. I'm going to pretty much try to get those down to just one layer before I put my top on. There we go. Hopefully that will help. Now I'm also going to take, this is a little, it actually is sold by, this calls for confetti, and it has some powder in there. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to run it lightly just along my adhesive there, because I don't want my sequins to stick to the edges of my adhesive. Now that I've done that, I can remove the string here from my adhesive and eyeball that, make sure got it down, press it down real well. And there we go. Oh, much better. That shakes much better. My first one, I got a little too much in it, and a lot of them got stuck down in here, and I think that's why I wanted to go around that adhesive, because it just didn't move as well as I wanted it to. So now that we have that part done, I'm going to go ahead and add this fun hinge hider here to our card base. Oops, get it up into place over here. There we go. All right, and last thing, oh, sorry, not last thing, next to the last thing is to add our little bunny and our egg right over here. And for this, I am going to use double-sided adhesive. I always feel like double-sided adhesive sticks a little bit better to the acetate. There we go. So I'm going to stick the egg down our bunny. All right, now where I use the little glass beads on this one, I decided it would be fun to use some of these tiny polymer ones on this one just to give a little more, pick up that rainbow going on in our background piece. And I decided to create a little pattern with my colors here. Putting them right in the center of each flower. All right, I will finish creating my rainbow on around on this one, but you can see here on this one how I went all the way around just to go ahead and pick up those rainbow colors in my background. So that is our cards for today, in different ways to use the new spring oval die set. So here, let me get my oval out here. There we go. Isn't that fun? I just think that's such a pretty die set. I have a feeling we're going to see this die set pop up in lots of videos to come. It's so pretty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera back. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you've enjoyed your spring so far. And if you're interested in any of the products that I used today, I have put my links below the video, and that always helps me out if you want to use those links to make your purchases. And I just thank you so much for spending this crafty time together, and have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.